The Saints fall to the Falcons 19-17 on the road to finish out the season 6-11. It was a back-and-forth game. Welcome into the Saints postgame show on NewOrleans.com, presented by Uber Eats. I'm Brooke Kirchhoffer alongside Scott Shanley. Man, it seemed like the game was in the Saints' hand up until that pick was thrown. Under 4 minutes, 3rd and 7. It was the double slants that we have seen before, and D. Alford was all over it with the interception.
Yeah, it was a really good play. I think Tyler, as he plays more football, he's done an outstanding job on a lot of things and redeemed himself on that last drive there. But when you talk about the interception, it's a play you've seen a lot around the league where teams are disguising, especially in the red zone. They disguise like they're playing man-to-man. They'll be head up on their guy, and then they drift off and get in that window. And I think that caught Tyler by surprise because it certainly looked like two-man, and he slept off, and he was in the zone for the interception.
Definitely. And in terms of the NFC South, the Panthers have the tiebreaker and win the division. The Saints finish last. They will have the 8th pick in the draft. We will get to a little bit more of that later on. But let's talk about how the defense absolutely dominated in this one. 4 sacks. They were all over Kirk Cousins, putting pressure on. But this arguably was Carl Granderson's best game of the year.
Yeah, Granderson was amazing. The play he made on the interception, you don't see a lot of defensive ends, outside linebackers, or any type of body types like that making plays like that. So that was a huge play in the game. Obviously, early on, special teams left a lot to be desired, getting a punt blocked. But I think the way the defense played early on gave you a lot of hope on the road and turned momentum. I think they did a good job. The defense did a good job of taking back momentum early in the game. We talked a lot about Atlanta's pass rush. I don't think they held anything compared to the Saints pass rush. So you look at the way Chase Young played today, Cam Jordan, Granderson, those three today really gave you a chance to win this game all day just based on their presence and the way they were getting after the quarterback.
Talk about Chase Young finishing on a high note. 10 games played, 12 sacks. What he was able to do against Kirk Cousins and this offensive line, they just couldn't stop him.
Yeah, I mean, 10 sacks in 12 games, that's highly productive. And then not only that, the things that don't show up in the box score, the amount of pressures he would get in the quarterback's face, his get off on the ball, the one sack you saw in the game, he was back there before the quarterback even had time to plant. I mean, his get-off is outstanding. Like what we said in the pregame, he's slimmed down some this year. He's really found a way to fit into this Coach Staley's defense. So bringing that pressure, getting 10 sacks, and we said it before. I mean, to me, this was one of the signings of the offseason. You got to give Mickey Loomis and the front office a lot of credit for going out there. Chase went from Washington, number 2 overall pick. Then he goes to the 49ers for a little bit. Then he comes here, kind of had a banged up year. And the Saints said, we've seen enough to make you the cornerstone of our defense in the coming years. And Chase did nothing to disappoint this year. He's been outstanding. He's going to be a guy that keeps offensive coordinators up at night next year.
Opposite of Young, also outstanding game, Cam Jordan. This is now his 7th season with 10-plus sacks. He was incredible as well today.
Cam's been amazing. I mean, every time we talked about Demario in the pregame show, Father Time just cannot catch up to these guys. Cam continues to produce. He makes plays again. Playing 15 years in the league, you shouldn't have the get-off, but Cam has always had great technique. And this goes all the way back to when I was here and he was a rookie. Cam played the run well. He was a great pass rusher. He never just said, I'm a pass rusher only. A lot of these guys just want to get after the quarterback in the pass rush game. But Cam in year 15 still has great mobility, athletic movement, great bend around the tackle, and you saw that today still in the last game of the season.
Tyler Shough also had a ton of pressure in his face, but I thought he did a good job, at least in the first half and the end of the second half, in evading that pressure. What did you think about his decision-making today?
Yeah, I think the one thing, there's a lot of things that have been impressive about Tyler. Just his ability to go through the progression really fast. First receiver, second, third, boom, boom, boom. He processes a lot of things really fast. But his pocket awareness, his pocket mobility, his ability to sense that pressure without panicking, I think is what separates him from a lot of the rookie quarterbacks you see in this league who get flustered by that and they hear footsteps and they speed up, their internal clock gets sped up too much. Tyler just has a way of slowing the game down, and he keeps his eyes downfield. And that's one of the hardest things to teach a young guy is to be patient in the pocket. Even when you hear those guys huffing and puffing behind you, you have to stand in that pocket tall. And I think that's what Tyler's really done well this year.
So 259 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, an 85.3 QBR. Where do you think he stands at this point now in the Offensive Rookie of the Year standings?
I don't know who's voting. I don't know how they're voting, but I don't know how you don't have Tyler Shough as the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Just His production, what he's changed. Those other players, the receiver with Tampa and Carolina, those are really good players, but they didn't change your entire organization's direction as soon as they got on the field. And I think Tyler has been everything and more that they expect when they drafted him in the second round. And Tyler's also, he's leading the NFL in throws from 10 to 19 yards. He is number one in the NFL in completion percentage. Those are money yards. Those are not easy completions. Those are not dink and dunk passes. And for a rookie quarterback to be leading the league in that 10 to 19 yard intermediate range is huge.
He's also giving guys a chance. We saw the one deep ball to Ronnie Bell. He gave him just enough room that if Ronnie Bell could create separation, and he did, he was able to come down with the touchdown to make it close, this game finishing 19-17 in the Falcons' favor. But the Tyler Shough Juwan Johnson connection from college now to the pros has been so much fun to watch.
They've really developed good chemistry, good timing. We thought Juwan would be a big part of today's game with his matchup presence against the Atlanta linebackers. Obviously, he wants the early play back, the fumble early on in the game. That's not what anybody wants. But I just think when you look at players in your offense and you say, what players on this offense is the other side, the staff on the other team that you're playing, staying up at night, worried about? How do we defend this guy? And Juwan, to me, was going into this game, he was that guy that Atlanta had to worry about to take away. He's still highly productive. And that's not taking anything away from anytime you're without Chris Olave. It's a big loss. But I thought Pettis, Kevin Austin Jr., Ronnie Bell with a heck of a catch with his arm pinned down, probably pass interference. He doesn't make the play anyway. So these guys all stepped up. And again, it speaks a lot to what the coaching staff has going here and what Coach Moore has in place here culture-wise is they just don't miss a beat no matter who's out there.
Speaks a lot to what they can do with a lot of their ones, twos, and even threes not available on the offensive end. We could list it out, and it would be a pretty long list, but another player who stepped up, especially in pass protection and picking up the blitz, Estime, unbelievable in terms of providing that extra layer of protection for Shough.
He's been outstanding. And in this league, it's about you continue to prepare for the opportunity nobody knows if they're going to get.
Right.
And that's what he was doing. When he wasn't on a team and they claimed him, put him on a practice squad, you still don't know if you're going to get that opportunity. Kamara goes down, then Devin Neal goes down, obviously Kendre Miller from earlier in the year. The way these dominoes fall, are you ready to take advantage of opportunity? And Estime has done that. I mean, last week we said almost rushing for 100 yards. Again, another highly productive day, keeping the chains moving, keeping the short yardage, keeping the down and distance manageable. He was a huge part of the offense.
I think it adds to when you're heading into the offseason and you're trying to figure out how you construct your roster. They're going to have some tough decisions to make now in terms of depth because a lot of these guys that were lower on the depth chart are making plays now at the end of the season. Yeah,
there's no doubt. And I think in this league, everybody's updating their resume every single day. So there's going to be some guys that you end up not keeping because you saw these guys emerge.
Right.
There's going to be some other teams that are watching what these guys are doing for the Saints in Week 17, and they may end up being on teams elsewhere. So the fun thing about this league is every day is an interview. And that's what Greg Williams always used to say to us. What you did yesterday doesn't mean anything. You're updating your resume every single day in this league, and that's what makes it so competitive and so good.
Absolutely. We talked about a lot of the pressure the defense was able to put on in their front seven. What did you make of the secondary today?
I thought it was outstanding. These pieces that they had to go against are as good. A lot of people picked the Atlanta Falcons to win the NFC South because of Bijan Robinson, Pitts, Drake London. They have all the shiny pieces in Atlanta at those positions. So a lot of people picked them to win the division, but Kool-Aid McKinstry's had an outstanding year. This defense, you look at Alontae Taylor's been outstanding. Sanker got thrown in, I think, week 2 or week 3. He's been amazing as a rookie. Quincy Riley, rookie, played a ton of football this year, made some big-time plays. So the secondary has been outstanding in Coach Staley's defense. You couple that with the pass rush you have, that definitely helps playing coverage. But this defense didn't give up a 300-yard passer all year. That's unheard of in the NFL. So there were really good things that this defense was doing all year, mainly towards the back half of the year. But you couple that with the Tyler Shough emergence and the defense emergence, and you have two coaches. Coach Moore won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. Coach Staley won a Super Bowl with the Rams. You have 2 Super Bowl winning coaches in the past 5 years. They know how to get it done.
Well, and talking about what they were able to do in terms of stopping the run, they held the Atlanta Falcons under 50 rushing yards when you have that two-headed monster we were talking about in pregame.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I think if anybody would have told you coming out of this game that when you look at the final box score, the team stats, and it's going to say Atlanta 25 carries for 49 yards, you're going to say, well, what happened to Bijan Robinson? Where did he go? Did he get hurt early in the game?
No.
This defense just did a great job of doing their job. Run defense comes down to doing your job. If this gap is my gap, I'm staying here and I'm trusting my buddy to do his job. And I think that's the hard thing for some guys And why you see big running plays is guys jump out of their gaps and try to do somebody else's job.
When you hear next man up mentality, look no further than the New Orleans Saints. We saw that left tackle Kelvin Banks left the game pretty early due to an ankle injury, and then Taysom Hill left with a right shoulder injury. How did you think the offensive line held up after Kelvin Banks went out? Because it looked like it was pretty seamless.
Yeah, and Kelvin is obviously a big loss. He's been playing really good football this year. He was your first-round draft pick this year. Hopefully it's nothing serious that requires any major time off. But I think for the most part, the offensive line, there's been a bunch of different combinations this year, but they found a way to get it done, whether it's through the play calling, the design of the plays to get the ball out quick, not putting guys in situations where one-on-one they can be taken advantage of.
At this point, the season is over now. Collectively, how do you feel about the third phase of the game right now in the kicking game and return game?
Well, I think, anytime bad things happen in special teams, unfortunately, any of us who saw the Seattle game this year, you automatically go back to that game, and it was not a great game special teams wise. But I don't think you can measure the season based on the Seattle special teams performance. You didn't want to see today happen. It's hard to win a game in the NFL on the road, giving up a block punt, giving short field. But I think the return game, for the most part, was the strength of the special teams unit. Charlie Smith came on late at the end of the year. Obviously, there was a play that he would like to have back today, but it was kind of a mixed bag a little bit. There were times where they were the reason that you were in games and you were able to win games, and then there were other times where you had to overcome some of the special teams miscues.
And now the Saints, we do know they will have the fourth place schedule. They have the Raiders at home, the Cardinals at home, and they will be at the Giants. And we now have head coach Kellen Moore at the podium.
The way we had finished off the last few games, I thought our guys battled, really battled. I thought the defense just played some outstanding football out there, and we just weren't able to quite get it done. We're close. A bunch of guys took advantage of some opportunities out there, and so overall, there's a little bit of reflection in the sense that really proud of this group, the way they've stuck together and battled each and every way, all the way down to the very end of this game, and so really proud of this group, and obviously, we want to recognize that first and foremost.
What did you see on Tyler's interception?
I think the DB, I saw it really live, and that was it. Did a really good job. He was inside of the slot receiver, and then he kind of bumped out right as the throw was occurring, and so I thought the kid made a phenomenal play.
What did you learn about him, just like with the way he responded on the next drive?
Yeah, Tyler's response. I thought he did some really big things. He had a couple of big plays on there. So, the scramble that got Dante the ball, he threw Dante another completion, and then I thought Ronnie making the one-handed catch in the back corner of the end zone, that was a big-time play. At least gave us a chance to go with the onside.
Did you like what you saw from the defense today?
Yeah, just relentless effort. The run game, forgo 25 carries for 49 yards. I mean, really special performance by those guys. Took all 11. And then rushing the passer. Rushing the passer. They get 4 sacks in there. I thought our guys just played a really physical brand of football, and it was really awesome to see.
This is also the fewest yards from scrimmage that Bijan Robinson got this season in every single game. Just the job you guys did against him. How would you describe it?
Yeah, I think it was just phenomenal performance of taking all 11. I thought the DBs stepped up in the run game. Made some tackles. I thought D-line was stout. The DNs, the edge rushers, set the edge. Backwards were flowing over the top, and so took all 11 every single play. And I think credit goes to our guys of executing the plan.
Is Kelvin Banks' injury anything like that you're worried about beyond?
No, not long term. He's got an ankle that obviously he'll just have to navigate. But obviously we're entering the off season, so he'll be fine.
How much progress have you seen from Tyler from when he first took over now to the end of the season? Didn't have a lot of weapons today. Some guys were missing and things like that. What did you kind of?
Yeah, I love what Tyler's done. His development, his growth, his ability to learn from each and every experience. He's put a ton of good football out there. Obviously, we're all going to continue to try and improve and get better collectively as a football team and certainly individually. And so I'm excited for what he'll have for this offseason. I think always having a full offseason is a huge benefit for guys just to kind of step away for a sec, look at it. You get to watch a ton of film that you get to evaluate and then go from there.
You have guys like Ronnie Bell and Samari Torre who haven't been with the team for a long time. Big pieces of the offense today. What did you see from them throughout the week?
Yeah, I think it's just credit to those guys of being ready for the opportunity. I thought those guys executed well. Ronnie had the big play, late, and I thought each of them, contributed and made some snaps, caught a couple balls, and so I was really proud of those guys. I was excited to see those guys get out there and have a chance to play, and excited for that.
Talk about the block punt, what you saw in that, and how big of a play it was.
Yeah, huge play in the game, obviously. for them to be able to get that done. I have not seen it, so I don't want to sit up here and judge any component of it. But obviously they executed well and made a big play in the game.
Would you say that's a phase of the game that you haven't been overly pleased with this season?
I think we're always just looking to get better, and so obviously, we're going to look at all three phases, continue to evaluate that, put ourselves in good positions. I think off seasons you have a really good opportunity to kind of evaluate yourself, self-evaluate, find different things that we're going to improve on, and so certainly that'll be one of those facets.
What goes into sort of making the decision about what style of kick to use in an onside kick situation? Does that vary opponent to opponent based upon what you know about the game?
Yeah, I think that's just Charlie and Phil just working together on the different tools that you have at your disposal, and so I think a lot of times it's got to be certainly a comfort level from a kicking perspective of executing the kick, and so Charlie's had a special one. This one didn't quite go there, but those are really hard kicks to execute. The margins are really small, and so Charlie's a really good kicker for those situations when anyone else.
Understanding that it's just the NFL here, without guys very much. Is it difficult to craft a game plan when none of these guys who were at receiver, right back, were on the team to start the season, and some of the late additions, all that stuff?
I think it's the journey of what an NFL season usually looks like. You're going to have to navigate stuff. You're going to have to navigate roster opportunities. Again, we can all look back at what the initial 53 was and how it's kind of navigated through the season. That's just what you go through. And so, the most important thing is we keep bringing in the right kind of people, the guys that are really smart, tough, physical football players that we can count on. And so certainly I feel like we were able to do that throughout the season of, onboarding some of these guys in the middle of the season that ended up contributing and playing some snaps late in the season. I have a ton of respect for those guys as far as their willingness and ability to prepare and get ready to go.
This might be a better question for Duncan. We got a little time left. As you stand here now, like if you were asked like what you think the identity of your team ended up being, like how would you maybe define that?
Yeah, I think it was just a smart, fast, physical football team, and I think we just spent a lot of time talking about the play style in which we wanted to play, the relentless effort, the finish, all those effort plays, and I think those added up as you went, and every little detail matters. We got a lot of stuff we obviously want to clean up, but I just love the way our guys played and competed each and every game in all three phases.
How would you describe what Tyler was like after the interception? Did you talk to him in that time? How did he process it, handle it, and how much of that, are you, looking to help him through that? How did that process get?
Yeah, obviously we were up quick, so obviously it was a quick transition. They had the three plays, and then we were back at it. But, he responds really well to these things, obviously, as well as you can under circumstances. Is he frustrated? Absolutely. There's frustration when turnovers occur. But I thought credit to him, his ability to respond, put himself in a really good position to be able to get that touchdown, get us at least an opportunity at the end. I think that's just credit to, the way he's wired. All good?
Anything else?
All right. Thanks, guys.
We'll have the players in shortly.
Thank you.
The locker room's open as well. If you'd like to use this door, you're more than welcome to. So that's good.
Ready? I'm right back. Oh, I'm ready. I just have something to say. I'm good. I'm ready. Of course you are. Whole day ready.
Mr. Button, you got to be more careful.
Thank you. Good. Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead.
No, you bet.
Were you hitting the double-digit sacks? I know the outcome wasn't what you wanted today.
Absolutely not.
To hit double-digit sacks again for your
This season I've been saying, give me opportunity, you see what I do with it. It's not the first time I think I've gotten double-digit sacks during Atlanta game. Some years back it happened again, so it's about on time. Just getting back, the revenge situation. I thought I had 10 sack against the Titans. I was gonna get one off of Kirko, good old Kirko chains, anyways. Would have loved to got the ball out. Of course, when I go for grab for it, he ducks under. It's fine. They come out with a win. I think we had a couple good chances there. Without making it about me, I'm blessed to be in a position to go after it. I thought I was gonna get another sack off of him, but it is what it is.
What did you think of just the overall performance that you had on the defensive side of the ball?
Man, started off strong. 2-3 series deep before you saw points up on the board. Of course, you'd love to see that momentum swing because if as you gain that momentum in the beginning, it's like, all right, we can really put them under. And we sort of let them hang around, and they fought their way back to a win.
Do you know yet if you want to do this next year?
I think I've always known. I'm willing. I'm more than willing. I think my play says I'm elite. Now, again, I told you I'd defer to Nikki Jordan. See if she's willing to let me do what it takes to be committed to the game because it takes a lot. 4 kids, they're all in sports. She holds it down. I'm not sure how. I do what I'm told when it comes to them, during season. But just overly blessed and honored. So I said, get me through 15. We'll see where it takes us. So I defer to her. And then after that, it'll just be if numbers make sense. I know, again, we've been trying to push the young narrative for a couple years. Chase is a hell of a player because she's got 10 sacks. Carl's a hell of a player. So it just depends on where we go. I think that my play dictates I am who I've always been.
And you seemed to have fun this year, right?
I have fun hitting people. Yeah, it's the name of the game. I've never not had fun hitting people. Now, again, it just, if you're not feeling appreciated, then sometimes you have to go where you're appreciated. I think that in the days, I've appreciated every moment I've ever had in New Orleans, and I foresee myself playing, I don't know how many more years, but again, this physically wise, I feel like I'm primed for a longer career.
The sack you had today, that looked like old school Cam Jordan. I mean,
We've been saying that all year. Man, this sack you had looked like old school, or maybe just who I've always been. Again, back on the edge, good things happen. You make me a nose tackle, I promise you nothing's good's going to happen. Shout out to Todd Grantham.
Just what did you make the way the team finished this year?
Man, I've said it all year. I don't know how many times I've said how resilient our team is. How tenacious our defense is, how we had a good young group that is growing and accelerating towards growth. It just sucks that, we're out of opportunities. I wish we'd be fully healthy the entire year. I wish we'd, had started off with, the touchdowns that we had, the scoring possibilities that we've had in the second half of the season and the first half of the season. In terms of defense, I think defense, we started off strong and we've had to get stronger. We eliminated for one of maybe 3 times that first drive Bulls jitters. Let's call it jitters. 3 points, 7 points, leaky points, and then you finish the game strong. We started off strong. I think we finished strong. We figure without the short possibilities, I think we probably let up 9 points today. That's where, if you consider the the block punt, whatever that is. Find a way to win is the name of the game, and I think our defense put ourselves in positions to do that more than a few times. Close out a few times. It's been good.
when this team was like 1-8, you were still like one of the most positive voices
Absolutely.
in the locker room. Was that something with the new coaching staff that you sort of set your mind to, I'm going to be that guy this year? Was that something you tried to do, or did that just...
That's natural. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had to force anything other than a smile last year a few times. But when it comes down to our locker room, I've always said, I want so much more success for this locker room because we're so close, because guys vibe with each other. Like, it's a great locker room. And this time, 8 months from now, this time next year, hopefully we're in a better position. This time, 8 months from now, the locker room will have to start over. You don't know the interchanging pieces. Cam Jordan's year 15, Demario Davis year 14. You know, you got guys looking for new contracts. You know, you got to pay Chris Olave, wide receiver one, money for everything that he does. You got to figure out a way to, you know, make it all shake. And I think, you know, for whatever reason, the locker room won't be the same. But hopefully the core guys, the guys that want to be here will be here. The guys that want to, you know, make a difference will be difference makers for us next year.
Cam, double-digit sacks, year 15. Like, was the only difference the last couple of years the style of defense and the opportunities, and now that's
No, I mean,
favorable? Or?
if you probably look at it, I do really well in the back third of the season for whatever reason. You know, that's 2 seasons ago, tore my leg up. You know, so whatever that was the end of pass rushing. So 6 games left, 5 games left, whatever that was, in this trash stadium. I mean, this wonderful place in Atlanta that it was. Tore, was it the perineals and something else in the leg? That's what it ended the possibility of pass rush at 2 sacks. Last year, 4 sacks. I don't know if I saw any sacks in the interior rush, so didn't get back onto the edge rush until the end, and you see what can happen. This year we started off at the edge and we finished at the edge, and we're back in double digits. And nobody's surprised. Well, correction, I'm not surprised, but the world can be surprised if they want to be.
Would you make that the way, like, what kind of impact did Chase have after he came back?
Man, just the way he attacked. We talking about surgery 2 years, next surgery 2 years ago. Yeah. When he first joined the team, the way he came on and was trying to learn, not just how to play, because he knows how to play, but you learn the mentality of never giving up, right? Last year you saw something in him click, and you're like, man, like he's got go to him, and he can do it every down. And this year I think he turned a whole nother level. And he jokes around. He's like, yeah, I'm getting out the stack. I'm stopping the run, and you could see starting to get excited. I said, now you've set a standard for yourself, and he's met that standard each game this year. You know, it's like he always just wanted to have a home, and now he's got a home, and he's made it his own. This year he's coming to his own, and he's, you know, lived up to every piece of hype that he's ever had around him. He's a hell of a run stopper, hell of a pass rusher. We already knew that. He's turned those pressures into sacks, double digits. You can't take that away from anybody. And you can do a lot of things in this league. You could be a high pressure guy and fizzle out, because if you don't get home, what does it matter? If you're just a high pressure guy, everybody forgets about you. It's sort of like Achilles from Troy. You know, that's why they won't remember your name. If all you are is close, you're never there. And Chase has got double-digit sacks for the first time, probably not the last time. The way he goes in, I'm like, dang, he's hitting prime right at the right time. Had we had been a playoff push, there's no scarier edge than Chase Young right now. Cool. You had one more. Go ahead.
How did number 10 feel today? I mean, you and Chase both held up.
I was more excited for Chase. Yeah, I was more excited for Chase than me. I mean, I knew I was going to get 1. I thought I had 10 last week. So, like, it was just like a get back. You know, it's like the incentives. I'm just getting back what was already supposed to be coming my way. But no, it's awesome. It's been a while since the Saints have had 2 double-digit sack guys same year. I know capability for sure. I know Trey Henn hit one year, but I think I was shy. So take it back to Cam Jordan Jr. Gillette days. Now it's Cam Jordan Chase Young. It's crazy. I had to say that name out loud. It's been a while. Yeah, you guys have a blessed one. Oh, there he goes, Mr. T.
You got that shit on.
Mr. T. You know, it's really this.
I got it.
You know what I'm saying? It's really this.
What next?
Of course.
Chase Young.
Thanks, Cam.
Chase, we'll start with, obviously you were excited to hit 10 on the team. What did that mean to you?
Man, people don't know what I've been through my career, you know, highs and lows. You know, it's all God, man. I remember moments being in the dark place at times, and just staying down. You know, people say stay down, but you don't know what it's like to stay down until you got to do it. And I mean, just staying down and, you know, just God keeping his hand on me, man. That's all I really can say about that. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And Cam was saying that, like, you know, you just needed to find a home somewhere, you know. You feel like you found it here, and you feel like this is where you kind of find your best version of yourself?
Most definitely, man. I knew I found a home where God put me at a place with 2 veteran players that could kind of teach me the ways of, just the league. I mean, like I told y'all, when I came in the league, I didn't really have that. When I come on this team, I got Double D, who always setting the standard. I got Cam Jordan. Double D talked about it. He said, greatness, he said you have to have a stamina for greatness. Cam Jordan gets at the building the same time every day. He does the same things every day, and he's done it for 15 years. That's a stamina for greatness. When you got people like that, leading the way, you have to hold yourself to a certain standard because you see it every day. They 35, 36. I'm 26. If they can do it, it's like, what am I doing? So, I'm blessed to be up under them two guys for sure.
With both of their contracts up this spring, can you imagine playing without them at this point?
Nah, I don't really want to think about that yet. I'm just gonna ride out into the sunset right now with them, and going on a D-line trip. Just enjoy my peoples.
How has this season been for you overall? Not just the success on the field, but just so many of you have talked about how great the locker room has been, and what's it kind of been like for you this year?
Great, man. We talked about it all the time. You look around the locker room, man. It's just I can look at every guy in there and know that we all have love for each other, no matter if it's offense, defense, or special teams. I give my hats off to the coaches, Staley again, for just setting a standard of that brotherhood, of how we supposed to play. And I ain't gonna fake it, on our D-line today, we was all balling. I mean, it was crazy. We feel good about going in the next year. Six, he doing his thing, and he just gonna get more comfortable. We control him what we can control. But yeah.
Chase, is there anything with just like your weekly routine that's changed, seeing how Demario and Cam operate? Like anything that's kind of like really foundational?
Just staying disciplined. Stamina for greatness. Being disciplined for 15 years, that's hard to do, man. For real, you gotta take your hats off to them dudes, man. I mean, I know a couple of my big cousins 36, and they can't do nothing. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? You really got to take your hat off to that, man. Cam and Double D, he's still hitting the fastest times out of all the backers. I mean, if it wasn't God to put me here, then I don't know who did. So I'm just blessed to be around them guys. I'm legendary guys forever. Especially in my book and everybody in this locker room.
Cam, he became the eighth player in NFL history at 36 to record double-digit sacks. So and all the other guys are like Hall of Famers, like Reggie White, Julius Peppers.
I mean, he gold jacket. That's. But the thing about it though, he was a gold jacket 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So to see him still every day, just a little thing, showing up to every defensive dinner, every D-line dinner, first in meetings, still to this day. I'm glad that I could be around that and be exposed to that, for sure.
You sort of said this, but for you, is this situation here, and maybe even this season, is this your best situation as a pro? Is this the most comfortable, the best you felt with a situation?
For sure. I mean, I want to be the same forever. I feel like I definitely have found my home. And I feel, you feel the love from this organization. You know what I'm saying? My first year in Washington, I never seen the owner. It was different. You know what I'm saying? I never seen our GM for real. You know what I'm saying? Now, I come here and, they on the field at practice, talking about this, talking about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just a real family oriented vibe. So I'm definitely happy where I'm at.
And just considering the way y'all close the season, you just feel optimistic for the future here, knowing that stuff changes and everything every year.
I definitely feel optimistic. It's what the silent tape. Why I feel optimistic because it's silent tape, not the big plays and the highlights, but the play in, play out, setting edges, staying in our gaps, and being sound.
Thank you, Chase.
Thanks, Chase.
Demario Davis.
Greetings, everybody.
He was just talking about how your stamina for greatness has been so inspiring to him, Chase. Like, is there anything about Chase's process and how he's kind of been the last couple of years that stands out to you as far as like his growth and maturity and that?
Oh, elite. I remember when the recruiting process was going on about if we gonna bring Chase Young in or not, and it was just like no question. It was like no question. Just get him here. Just get him here. And it was all these narratives around him about the type of player he was, and I don't really follow people's storyline or really watch a lot of football where people are not in our locker room. But it was just like, I remember when he came out, I knew who he was, knew of him. And when he came in, the first thing I noticed was his hunger for greatness. When you have guys who play at a high level for a long period of time, it's usually one or two responses that other guys in the locker room, they're either drawn to him or they just kind of standoffish. And he was somebody that just kind of came to me right away and was just like, man, whatever you got, I want it. However you train in the offseason, I want to know how you train it. However you take care of your body, I want to know about it. And that stood out. And it was just like, he got it. He got it. And then we had a lot of conversations just about not just being a great player, but be a great man, be a great leader. It's never days off. It ain't like you just come in and put in work on the football field and then you turn it off when you go on about your life. And that's what we had a lot of conversations around. And I watched him grow as a man. I watched him grow as a human being. I watched him grow as a person. And that was happening before I feel like everybody saw it. This year, everybody, of course, saw it. But even if you watched him, last year, he was already taking those steps. And it really was just a credit to him. He knew what he had to do. He was like, Didi, just hold me accountable. I know what I got to do to change. And he did it. And I think, man, he won all those battles in the dark. And I think that's just a reflection of life, of what's possible, that everybody has those individual battles. And the story will follow your journey. In publicly, what happens will be directly reflective of what happens in the dark. I think the Bible talks about what's done in the dark will one day be shouted from the rooftops. And I think everybody is seeing the type of player that Chase Young is capable of being, but it's because of what he's done in the dark.
Mario, when we talked to you on Friday, you seemed very at peace, optimistic, excited about 2026. What about this season has put you in that headspace and has made you feel so excited about what's next?
In regards to the New Orleans Saints, I think there's a lot to be optimistic about for this organization in particular. I think, number one, you have a solidified QB1, and I think there's been a lot of quarterback changes over the last few years. I got a chance to see a lot of them since Nine walked out of the building, and there's probably the most excited. Everyone inside the organization and outside the organization has been excited about a quarterback. And that just takes a lot of pressure off of a lot of decision making. When you kind of constantly shuffling that piece, which is the main piece, it becomes hard. And I just think it's a credit to him and the plays that he's consistently showing and making that it's earned that trust. And I think when you kind of go into the offseason, you have that, it makes a big difference. I think the quality of guys who are developing on the roster, when you have Alontae Taylor, who's played lights out, you have young, consistent safeties, Jonas Sanker, Jordan Howden, Justin Reed brought in. His leadership's been off the charts. When you have Kool-Aid McKinstry, true lockdown corner, taking that next step. When you have dynamic, pass rushers with Carl Granderson, Chase Young, having a 10-sack season and missing 5 games. Brian Brzee, who's constantly being one of the premier interior players. When you have stout run game, starting with your interior defensive line, having Gotcha, Bullard, Ridgeway, Shepard, having guys like that interior, everybody knows I talk about like our my linebacker tree, but this linebacker room is probably one of the best ones I've been a part of, and that is not taken away from the guys. We just played against one of them, Caden Ellis, not taken away from Zach Bond, another all-pro season, not taken away from Alex Anzalone, not taken away from all those guys who I've had a chance to play with and that were in this locker room. But, I mean, when you look at Pete Werner, Danny Stutzman, Isaiah Stahlberg, Jalen Ford, you got in the game the other day, I think he played like 5 snaps and had 3 tackles. It's like when you look at these guys, and don't forget, like, Nephi Soul, who's on the practice squad, was playing meaningful minutes before he got hurt. And so he's still that same guy. Like, so, man, when I talk about, like, the room, and so when you have a quality group of young guys like that, that's building and growing, I think offensively, you have a young offensive line. You had Chris Olave, really show that he's a true number 1 receiver this year, going out and balling. Juwan Johnson playing like one of the top tight ends in the league. I think there's a lot to be excited about as far as, heading into the offseason with a lot of momentum, because what you have is no longer potential, but you have guys who are answering the call and becoming who they were projected to be. And when you get that, you don't always get that, and you have all that happen at one time. It's a good thing.
Do you want to be part of that next season?
Do I want to be part of that? Man, I don't even think I have to speak about my love for the city and the organization, this organization in particular, because of what I feel about the owner, Ms. B. I think she's the greatest owner in sports. And so playing for her is huge. I love the coaches that have been brought in and the culture that has been established. I think very highly of Kellen Moore. The way he runs the team is, I said it again, that's how I would run a team. Coach Staley, as a defensive coordinator, has really, even in year 14, taken my game to another level. I think the player that I've been able to be this year is directly connected to, having him come in, and I've learned a lot, playing for him. And Coach Sermon, I think, being a former player as a linebacker coach, has really helped, because he can speak to me as a player who played the game for a long time in the same position. And so that's allowed me to grow as a player. So I think I don't have to speak about like what this organization means to me, but at the same time, I don't have so much say-so in where my journey goes. As a servant of the man above, I go where I'm sent. And I certainly don't close a book before it's supposed to be closed. But when new chapters happen, I have to be open to go. And so, I love it here, but at the same time, I never can project what's going to happen next.
Did your production this season fuel you to say, you know what, I want to keep doing this?
Well, that was a goal for me. I think I made a statement about how much longer I wanted to play. And, you can have these goals. But I also said another goal was I gotta have a PR in some department. I have to have a personal best in some department, which is an indicator to me that I'm still doing it at a high level. So whether that's tackles, tackle for losses, pass breakups, forced fumbles, whatever. And I got off really hot with tackle for losses and forced fumbles, so I was like, well, it's probably going to be one of those. I didn't think it was going to be the tackles, but they just kept racking up. And, so I think, coming into the game, I already had, surpassed, what my previous high was. And that's just a good indicator for me that I can still do it at a high level, that my body is still producing at the level. I don't want to be somebody that just sticks around and hangs on. Like, if I can't, my mind is wired just towards being the best. If I can't feel like I'm one of the best doing it or doing it at my best, then, you know, it's other things that I could be doing with my time. And so that's a big part of it. And I think that was a huge part of it. But also there's an internal sense that kind of goes on with that the mission is ultimately not finished. You know, it's like I'm going to be in this game as long as God has me here doing what he has me doing, because I don't think it's just about football. It's about using the platform the right way. It's about how you impact people. It's about how you show up. And that matters. And I certainly don't want to cut it short before my time is finished.
Demario, you've heard that phrase silence quite a few times this year. Like, just why is that so impactful to you guys, like in terms of the culture and everything that stadium's building?
Because that's what matters. I think there's a lot of narratives that can get tossed around and things be said, but at the end of the day, what really matters is when you turn on the tape. Like when I'm studying another team, it doesn't matter what the narrative about, what they're saying on, you know, different networks. What really matters is what they're putting on tape, because that's the tendencies. That's what we have to play. That's what we have to respond to. And you know, what do guys see when they turn on the tape? You know, and I think that's really what speaks. It's not, you know, it's not talk. It's not lip service. It's what are you actually doing? And there's no greater indicator of what you're doing than the silent tape. You know, put the tape on, and what does it say?
And Cam's always maintained that he's always been who he is, but to see him at age 36, 10.5 sacks this year, how would you just make it his season?
It's unreal. Cam Jordan is the greatest defensive player that I've had the opportunity to play with, and I played with some really good ones. I played with Darrelle Revis. I played with Antonio Cromartie. I played with Ed Reed. I played with guys who were the best at their position. And when you look at Cam Jordan's body of work in year 15, going for close to a double-digit sack season, and he's just always doing it. But I think the way he plays the run, too, he's not just one of those guys that's just out there just rushing the passer. He's constantly being a force in the run game, and he's just consistent. He doesn't miss games. He's out there, and I think it's a credit to him. Even I think this year is probably even more impressive because he's having a higher level of production with less snaps. It's not like he's out there, you know, playing the amount of snaps that he once played, and he's still having that production. It's unbelievable. I'm a huge admirer of it, and I just think it goes into his process. Like when I watch Cam in the off season and during the season, he's doing the same thing all the time. Like, you know, after games, you can catch him out. He'll probably be out there, even though the season's over. He'll probably be out there tomorrow jogging laps. That's just who he is, and it speaks. He takes care of his body the right way, and I think he has that old school mentality of, you know, being durable and being available. And when the game is on, I just think he's just a hard person to deal with one-on-one. And I think this organization is blessed to have him. You know, like he's surpassed a Hall of Famer who's the, you know, greatest defensive player in history in this organization. He surpassed those numbers, and he's still going. And it's just, so I think sometimes it's hard to give people their flowers while they're still doing it because you don't know what level of greatness. But for me to be around it is just something that is it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing to, it's like, man, this dude is the greatest player that defensive player I've ever played with, and he's on my team, you know. And so it's unreal, you know, that it's happening in real time. I think it's just, you know, hats off to him and all that he's accomplished.
We have time for one more with Demario, if there are any. Good.
Hey, y'all be blessed.
Thanks, Mario.
Folks, we're a little tight for time with the buses out there, so if we could keep the majority of the questions to today's game, Tyler will be available tomorrow, but we have like 7 or 8 minutes here. I'll turn it over to Ross to go ahead and ask another first.
Just with this game as it was, I know the result wasn't what you wanted. What do you feel like you built, you know, closing out the season?
Yeah, I think it just shows the resiliency of the team more than anything, kind of the ability to bond together through where a lot of teams may quit when the end result isn't exactly what you want. But we've just had fun building that stuff together, and with new faces, people coming and going, we've kind of really just shared that, and it's been a lot of fun. So tough way to finish, and with the outcome, but all day, all game, people stepping up, making plays, and came down to the wire.
What was it like knowing that like the NFC South was going to be on the line for Carolina and Tampa? And did you hear the Tampa in the huddle yesterday, like you said, like go Tyler Shough?
Yeah, I mean, you want to go win because it's the Falcons, and obviously it's a unique outcome with the game. So obviously our mindset was to go out there and win, and it's tough at the end of the day. But I think it's just a lot of stuff that we can look back on and really build off of, which was encouraging.
What happened to you about the performance of the first half and then the adjustments or whatever it was that you guys made to kind of get things going a little bit more in the second half?
Yeah, it was just the penalties. We're going backwards on first and second down, and you can't do that. And we just had to be more dialed and just be sharper with the communication cadences. So it's hard when you're going backwards that way. We were seeing everything fine. We're operating really well. So we knew we was going to continue to pop, and obviously we're able to make some progress there. And we got to find that way to put in the end zone and finish it. On that last drive and on that pick.
What happened on the interception?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just an unbelievable play by 20. Alfred knew exactly what they were doing in quarters. We ran double slants. We've been running all game, and he's buzzed out to the flat. He was matching it, and he was just a really great play by him through the quarterback's eyes. Seeing him relate to number 2 and then fall off to number 1 late there. So just a great job by him. And I just got to see that. Obviously I'm throwing it with him matching it, and just kind of reset and go back from there. But credit to their defense, credit to him. Great play in that crucial moment. So just really good things to learn from kind of going forward. And, we'll kind of figure out ways to shore it up. But ultimately on me to got to pull that back, find a running lane and step up there.
I've had many of those. Do you feel like you're good at flushing that and moving on?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it was just a great play. I mean, I'm throwing it there 100%. You're relating there. The ball's already out, and he falls off last second. So there's nothing, just analytical-wise, there's nothing more to it than that. That's just football, really. It just sucks. But, yeah, great play. And for me, it was just operating. We were going to get another chance, and let's go score, and came down the wire.
What's it say about this team's fight? Like, you come right back, you score on the next drive.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the game, it's down to just 2 starters left, and everybody else is just out there battling. Just to go through that, maybe you don't get the result you want, but what does the team learn about itself on a day like that?
Yeah, it learns a bunch. I think just that was my mindset. It was just like, screw it, let's go play, man. This is why you play football. Like, who cares what the outcome, what the people are saying? Like, we got stuff to put on tape. Obviously, we want to go freaking win, and that was the most fun I've had throughout this whole week, communicating with guys. Throughout the game, there's just so many limited reps you have with Samori and Ronnie and Kevin and DP. Obviously, had built up a little bit more repertoire with those guys, but just an unbelievable job by everybody stepping up. Audric, people coming on the O-line, banged up. So against that defense here, I think credit to them because they're a really good team, but credit to our guys for showing up and battling.
How unique was that scenario this week? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
You just don't see that happen very often. None of these guys are on the roster to start the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the nature of the NFL, and there's no excuse for it, but was just kind of proud of how they kind of stepped up with minimal reps, learning a lot of new plays throughout the week, learning new responses. But yeah, there's a body language element to it. There's certain things that you can't replicate, obviously, when you build that time with Olave, and I think Juwan did a really good job showing up as well. So it was, like I said, just that's why you play football. Everybody did a good job, and I think it's a lot of stuff to build off this offseason and really kind of have that bad taste in your mouth to build forward for next year.
How about you had time to work on the throw to the left hand and the corner of the end?
With Ryan, no, that was not on my bingo card for sure. That was just unbelievable catch by him. Came up really big there. He's just a dynamic player, and it was just a great play to finish that drive.
You said you end this season feeling optimistic. You're heading into the offseason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just the way we kind of grinded and finished, build that closeness together with a lot of guys, veteran guys, a lot of there's a lot of change that's going to happen, but I think the core of what we showed is really encouraging, and it also kind of leaves that bad taste in our mouth losing to where, we got a lot of stuff to put in, and it's encouraging because I know I'm going to give everything I have this offseason to make sure we're in the playoffs and we're fighting for a Super Bowl next year, and I got to continue to get better and learn and make sure we're doing everything we can.
Just curious, when the ball came out of your hand, were you able to tell that Ronnie caught it with one hand, or did you have to see a replay of it?
I saw the back of the end zone. I think 11 hit me in the face or something, so I didn't really get to see it. And then, but away games are always fun because when it's quiet, then something good happened. And yeah, I mean, my mindset was we're going to get another opportunity. So it was a great play, but it was just kind of let's keep going, next play mentality.
On that touchdown, on your touchdown run, it's you and Jalen Walker.
Mm-hmm.
When you take off, are you confident you can beat him to the pylon?
For sure. I feel like in those scenarios, using my legs, I'm always going to be confident. The coaches on the sideline were joking me afterwards. I think that was like 98, one of the bigger guys, and you weren't that fast, but I was like, man, screw you. I knew it was him, and I trained with him in Dallas, and I remember watching him train for his 40, and it was pretty scary because he can roll, and they got a great defense, they got a great front, so it was just kind of a great battle, like I said, with the whole offense, the whole line, everybody stepping up.
Was that one designed to be a keeper run, or did you have the option?
No, it was a throw. It was just a boot with the guy banging the flat. You got the over, so just kind of got washed down, and then at that point, you just go try and go get it.
Kelly, that throw where you went to the left, there's two defenders coming, you layer the ball over for the first down, like, can you even practice something like that, or is that just all?
Yeah. You practice throwing on the move, but those scenarios, you're just trying to make a play. Fourth down, it was just a good catch by Juwan, and you just got to do everything you can to go get it.
Did you see the OPI call in the end zone? Did you get a read on that at all?
No, it's tough. I think, we weren't trying to pick anybody. They just all ran into each other, so it's just kind of happenstance. Tough call, obviously. Great play by Kevin getting open. Game changer for sure, but I hadn't got to watch it yet, but I know that it's just kind of football play. Everybody ran into each other, wasn't trying to rub anybody.
Did you get hurt on that call that I think it looks like a fourth caller, but they said it wasn't?
No, it was just an awkward landing, but nothing too crazy, I don't think. So, that's on me. I got to throw the ball away though. They're back. You take a crucial, just negative play yardage sack there. Was trying to make a play and thought I could, get off it, but at that point, just throw it away. Be better in third and manageable. So good to learn from for me, and that was on me. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom.
That'll do it for Tyler Shough's rookie campaign. Excited to see how he attacks his first NFL offseason. How would you grade his rookie year?
Usually I'm a tough grader, but I think sitting here and watching what Tyler brought to this offense, you got to give him an A. Wasn't perfect. Perfect is winning every single game, but also the games that you didn't win wasn't because of Tyler. I think what Tyler brought to this team was the quarterback position for me. I've always been taught in this league, it either brings hope or despair. Who's at that position, and who does your locker room and your fan base believe in? Tyler Shough brought hope to everybody. By the way he played, by the decision-making, his growth every single week. I think the most important thing for Tyler now, if I could give him any advice, would be don't become a different person or player based on those expectations that are now going to be placed upon you. Because coming into this league, nobody really had high expectations for you. You played at 3 different colleges. They wanted to show the bad plays from those things. Who did you draft? Who's this Shough guy? You came in and you proved to everybody that you are a franchise quarterback. Now don't fall under those pressures and expectations. Continue to be who you are.
I like the way you put that too, but I think even though it's his first year as a head coach in Kellen Moore, what he has been able to do in molding Shough this first year, obviously help with Doug Nussmeier as well. I mean, this just seemed like the perfect storm with the offensive coaches with this rookie quarterback.
Yeah, and so many times I think it's always hard to tell young guys before the draft, if you work with them or coach them up, it's more important where you get drafted than when you get drafted, because everybody's concerned about when you get drafted. Everybody wants to be the number 1 overall pick. But for Tyler, I think coming into this situation with Kellen Moore, who obviously played quarterback, Doug Nussmeier played quarterback, Scott Tolzien played quarterback, you have great minds and great resources all around you. And that's why it's more important where you get drafted than when you get drafted, because your career can take completely different paths based on who you have in your ears every single day and how they teach you the game and what they're telling you what to look for.
And speaking of the draft, now it's about building around the rookie quarterback. The Saints, we know, have locked up the 8th pick. You mentioned the running back out of Notre Dame and Jeremiah Love. I am sure he wouldn't mind adding him to the roster.
Yeah, I just look at this offense, and you look at Bijan Robinson, as dynamic of a player as he is in Atlanta, and I think about him, Love, a lot more when I watch Atlanta play, because I think you put Shough and Olave and Vele, Jawan Johnson, you have all these weapons on the outside, and he's a home run hitter at running back. You drafted 2 tackles. You have those pieces up front. Probably going to draft some guys on the interior and add some depth there. But I just think for what he can do in the home run game, in the pass game and the run game, that would be a fun element to see in the Kellen Moore offense.
And I don't think the Saints could have asked for a more positive break in terms of scheduling with the Raiders and Cardinals at home, and then they will play at the Giants next year. What do you think about that schedule?
Yes, we definitely always want to beat Atlanta. It's hard to get over an Atlanta loss. I will get over this, and I think the fans will get over this loss a little bit more when you say, your reward for finishing or losing to Atlanta today is you get to play the Arizona Cardinals, the Giants, and the Raiders. That's a far cry from playing some of those other finishers in those divisions. So I think you look at going in next year, there's going to be all sorts of hype. There's going to be a lot of expectations. Another reason why a lot of times when fans talk about tanking and getting the highest draft pick, there isn't one guy in this draft who's going to change life for you. I got good news for you. You already have that guy. He's at the quarterback position. Now it's just about adding pieces. The more games you win, the more primetime games you're going to get. And when you play on those national stages, that's how you get the ball rolling.
You talk about the guys you're going to get in the draft. How about trying to keep some of these guys in the room? They have the 3 guys in that front 7 that they would like to keep. Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, and now what they have found in Shough, who called New Orleans his forever home. When you think about it, Cam Jordan, year 15. Demario Davis, year 14. They're not playing like it. How would you approach this offseason?
Well, I think the way this team finished this year, had it went a different way, and it just spiraled out of control. Obviously, it's an easy decision. Let's just move on. We're going to start young. We're going to replace everybody. But I think the way this season ended and the development of the young players is a big part of what these older players brought. And it would be way different if these older guys we're talking about, Demario and Cam, if they weren't productive and weren't producing, it would be a much easier thing to say, thank you for your service. Maybe you can coach the guys someday, but we're done. They're still producing at a high level. So I think there will definitely be discussions about these guys still playing. And I hopefully it all works out. It's a business. You never know how it's going to work out. You can only cut that salary cap so many different ways. But they're still producing, and they mean a lot to these young guys in the locker room as well.
Absolutely, and we hear it, especially at the podium, listening to Shough as Demario Davis and Cam Jordan are walking by him, and he's just so excited to be a part of this group. I'm also really excited to see what first-year head coach Kellen Moore is going to do now that he's had 1 full year in the playbook. How is it going to look? What might be added or changed next year as well?
Yeah, I think there will be a different wrinkle to this offense. You kind of saw year 1, you're just getting your feet wet, understanding really how you're attacking your division. And a lot of what you do in the offseason is based on how do we win this division, whatever division you're in. If you win it, you're going to host a playoff game. So that's the number one thing, how you're drafting, your free agents, who you're re-signing. You're looking at ways to beat the Carolina Panthers, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do they have that we need to combat them with? So a lot of this offseason is going to be set up. How do we get back to being the NFC South champions?
Absolutely. And another player who's on that list that we'll be eyeing is Taysom Hill, who we saw had a big play today. What have you seen from him this offseason and expectations?
Taysom coming off of that injury, a lot of guys, for the role that Taysom plays, the battering ram, the big physical back, coming off an injury that he came off of, I don't think many people had high expectations at his age coming off that type of injury. But for what Taysom brought and what he was doing in this offense, and you saw it, the running back position got depleted throughout the year. Who can answer the call for us? Well, we'll run Tyler some. We'll run Taysom some. So I think Taysom had an outstanding year. I don't know what the future holds for him. Obviously, he was emotional in his last home game, but only Taysom knows what the future holds for him. But I think when you look at just a pure football player, he's one of the best football players I've ever seen. I've never thought playing this game, I was lucky enough to do it for 10 years. I never thought I'd see a player be able to do the things that number 7 did in a professional football uniform. Any position you needed him to play, he could play it, and he played it at a high level.
And he loves New Orleans. New Orleans loved him back. The fans love him. We will keep an eye on that. A lot to look forward to in the offseason. Of course, the draft coming up. We know Aaron Summers will have much more this week with player interviews. And then, of course, the Saints fans can always look forward to King's Day, which is coming this Tuesday. That'll be something they look forward to. But thank you so much for joining us on the Saints postgame show live on NewOrleansSaints.com. For Scott Shanley, I'm Brooke Kirchhoffer. We'll see you next time.